Hello students, in today's class we are going to learn nucleophilic addition reactions, right? So in the previous class we have already learned the mechanism how aldehydes and ketones will be undergoing nucleophilic addition reactions, and therefore let us have the first part of nucleophilic addition reactions. So aldehydes and ketones, they form addition products with a hydrogen cyanide. So here I have written what an aldehyde, or it can be a ketone. Okay, if I write here one hydrogen, then it becomes what a aldehyde, right? If it is R group and here also R group, then it becomes what a ketone. So altogether what we can keep it as a carbonyl group. Okay, either it can be an aldehyde or it can be a what a ketone. So this when treated with initially hydrogen cyanide, that is what a HCl. Basically we know that this pi bond is a weak bond, this will be migrated here, this oxygen bears now partial negative charge and this carbon bears now partial positive charge, right? So the nucleophile hydrogen cyanide Cn minus is acting as a nucleophile, it will be coming and water attacking to this positively charged carbon atom, and therefore we are getting the corresponding product cyanohydrin. So this compound is called as what a cyanohydrin. Now let us understand how the mechanism and then followed by few examples. Now students, if you see the mechanism, okay, in the step number 1 we have to generate the nucleophile. So step number 1, it includes the generation of a nucleophile, right? So hydrogen cyanide is taken and in the presence of OH minus, that is nothing but what a alkali, or we can write it here alkali medium, right? So this H plus and this is what a Cn minus. So this H plus and OH minus, this is OH minus. OH minus is taking this water H plus and it will be lost in the form of water H2O, giving rise to what the nucleophile, that is called as a Cn minus, that is called as cyanide nucleophile. In the second step, students, the cyanide ion, that is what the nucleophile is going to attack on the carbonyl carbon. Initially we know that this pi bond is a weak bond, it will be polarized on this oxygen atom because oxygen is more electronegative and it carries a partial negative charge. Meanwhile this carbonyl carbon bears a partial positive charge and it is acting as an electrophilic center. So the nucleophile will come and attack to this electrophilic center and we will be having the next intermediate. I hope you are able to see here. So this is the carbon atom and it is linked with a single bond with the oxygen atom, and oxygen now bears complete negative charge and it is accompanied with what a Cn, that is what cyanide. So this intermediate in the presence of what a H plus, that is acid, so this this O minus will be attacking on this hydrogen ion and to get what the compound, that is cyanohydrin. So this compound is nothing but called as cyanohydrin. Is it clear, students? So we have to learn examples one by one, students. Formaldehyde with acetaldehyde, benzaldehyde, and with a ketone, that is one is aliphatic ketone, other one is aromatic ketone. Initially we are going with what a formaldehyde. So here this example, okay, this is the first example, okay, I have taken here formaldehyde. So formaldehyde when treated with what a hydrogen cyanide, it will be giving an addition product, that is nothing but called as a formaldehyde cyanohydrin. Is it clear, students? Now in the second case I will be taking one more example, that is what second example here. So here I will be writing what CH3 single bond C double bond O and H. So now this part is called as acetaldehyde. We know that one of the linkage of this carbon is what CH3, so therefore it is an aldehyde other than formaldehyde, right? So when I treat this compound with hydrogen cyanide, then what happens? We can write here CH3C, then followed by OH, then followed by H, and here we can write what Cn. So therefore addition product, we have to write the name of the compound from which it is obtained. So therefore the reactant molecule is acetaldehyde and the product is accompanied with the cyanide group. So therefore it is called as acetaldehyde cyanohydrin. So I'll be taking here one more example with respect to what aldehyde, but here I will write it as C6H5. right? And this is linked with what, a carbonyl group, and here one hydrogen. The name of this compound is now called as benzaldehyde. When benzaldehyde is treated with cyanohydrin, again we are getting one addition product. So here I can write it as H5, then followed by C6, a carbon. To this we are having here OH, and here we are having one hydrogen and the nucleophile, that is CN. So therefore it is now called as benzaldehyde cyanohydrin. Now this benzaldehyde cyanohydrin is also called by another name, that is called as mendelonitrile. One has to remember this name also, mendelonitrile. And let us take one example of ketone, that is with respect to, here I can write CH3C double bond O CH3. Now this is a ketone, but the name of this compound is, commonly it is called as acetone, but IUPAC name is propanone. When treated with hydrogen cyanide, it gives an addition compound, that is CH3C, then followed by OH, and here we can write CH3 and here CN. The name of this compound can be now written as acetone cyanohydrin. So that example was an acetone, that is what, a aliphatic what ketone. Let me take an example of aromatic ketone now. If it is aromatic ketone, so I can write here again now here H5 and here C6, then followed by C double bond O, then I can write here CH3. Now this compound, commonly it is called as acetophenone. When this compound is treated with HCN, that is hydrogen cyanide, so we can write here H5C6C with OH. Here I can write CH3 and the nucleophile that has attacked CN. So the name of the compound is now called as acetophenone cyanohydrin. Like this, students, you have to write as many as examples for each nucleophilic addition reaction. So here you can see that in the example number 1 I have taken what, a formaldehyde. In example 2 I have taken aldehyde other than formaldehyde, and these two are what, aliphatic aldehyde. In example 3 I have taken an aldehyde, but it is what, aromatic, because here we are having a C6H5, it is an aromatic aldehyde. In example 4 I have taken with respect to ketone, but this ketone is aliphatic ketone. Is it clear, students? And in example 5 here I have taken what, aromatic ketone. You can see that here we are having a C6H5. Is it clear, students? Like this only we have to write what, the addition reactions for different types of what, nucleophilic addition reactions. So the next reaction is, students, addition of sodium bisulfite. Sodium bisulfite formula is NaHSO3. This is also called as a sodium hydrogen sulfite. Is it clear, students? So aldehydes and ketones. So here this is aldehyde or ketones. When treated with this sodium hydrogen sulfite, it will be giving a very important compound, that is white crystalline compounds which are called as sodium bisulfite addition compounds, right? So here I have written the general reaction. GR stands for general reaction, and this can be an aldehyde or a ketone. So when treated with sodium bisulfite, we will be getting a sodium bisulfite addition compounds. Let us see the mechanism now. So in this mechanism I have taken the aldehyde, or it can be a ketone, and we basically know that this pi bond is a weak bond because of water axial overlapping, and oxygen is electronegative, so therefore now this oxygen bears now delta minus charge and this carbon bears a delta positive charge, and the nucleophile SO3H will be attacking to this electrophilic center, and therefore we are having the intermediate part or the compound now here C, then followed by O minus, then followed by SO3 and H. Right, students? So this will be undergoing further the hydrogen shift. So this hydrogen will be moving in the form of H plus to this oxygen. So I will write here H plus shift, and we will be getting the another part of this reaction. Now here I can write now this as what OH, and here remains what SO3. But why? Because here this bond is migrating to this oxygen in the form of negative charge, right? And this part further in the presence of Na plus, which was present in the reaction. So I have to just that arrow mark should be written in reverse manner. Okay, fine. In the presence of Na plus, it will be giving the another expected product, that is C, then followed by OH, then here we are having SO3Na. Is it clear, students? So what we can say that we are getting sodium bisulfite addition compounds. I hope that this Na whatever is here I have not written here. I hope you are able to see. Now I will be writing here what Na. I have been forgot to write that, right? Is it clear now, students? So I hope you have understood this mechanism now. So that is addition of water sodium bisulfite, right? So now we have to learn one of the important note of this reaction. So let us try to understand that note also. The note is that, students, only aliphatic methyl ketones will be reacting with this sodium bisulfite. Compounds like diethyl ketone or acetophenone or benzophenone etc. will not be undergoing this reaction, and the reason is because of what? Steric factor, that is nothing but overcrowding of the alkyl or the aromatic part on the carbonyl carbon. So in the example we have taken here formaldehyde, that is example number 1. Formaldehyde is taken, and when it is treated with sodium bisulfite, we are getting the corresponding addition product called as a formaldehyde sodium bisulfite. Now let us take example 2. In this example 2 we will be taking here CH3, C, double bond O and H. So therefore the name of this reactant is called acetaldehyde, right? Acetaldehyde when treated with NaHSO3 sodium bisulfite. So here I can write CH3, a carbon, then followed by OH, one hydrogen atom, and here SO3 Na, and the name of the compound is acetaldehyde sodium bisulfite. Right, students? So let us take one more example, that is with respect to example 3, and that would be with respect to benzaldehyde. So in case of benzaldehyde, all you have to do is, here you can write C5, C6, C double bond O and one hydrogen. So therefore this becomes benzaldehyde, and this benzaldehyde with NaHSO3 we are having here C5, H6, C, OH, a hydrogen, and SO3 Na, and the compound would have been now called as benzaldehyde sodium bisulfite. Is it clear, students? So these are the 3 examples that are with respect to sodium bisulfite, right? Now students, we are having the third nucleophilic addition, that is addition of alcohols. We are going to add alcohols on the carbonyl group. First let us discuss only with aldehydes. Is it clear, students? So therefore aldehydes are going to react with alcohols in the presence of dry HCl. So this we have to note, students, in the presence of dry HCl gas to give gem dialkoxy compounds. It means on the same carbon atom we are having two alkoxy, so therefore it is called as gem dialkoxy compounds, and these are called as acetal, ACETALS. Initially, addition of one molecule of an alcohol to an aldehyde gives a hemiacetal. Hemi means, you know that half of the circle is nothing but called as half sphere, isn't it? So like that, here what we are calling it as what? A hemiacetal, which contains, okay, this hemiacetal contains both an ether functional group as well as an alcoholic functional group, right? So this hemiacetal is highly unstable and it is going to react further with another molecule of an alcohol to give acetal. Now let us try to understand the reaction, that is with respect to what? A general reaction. So here I have taken an aldehyde, right? And this aldehyde is going to react with an alcohol, and we know that this pi bond is a weak bond and it moves towards oxygen because of its greater electronegativity. So it carries partial negative charge, and the electrophilic carbon that is having positive charge. Now here this is the nucleophile OH minus, so this will be attacking to this electron deficient carbon. So therefore we are having the intermediate, and that could be written as R, then followed by C. To this C we are having O, right? So this O is bearing negative charge. This negative charge will be seeking this R dash, so therefore I can write it as O then followed by R dash, right? And the remaining part is we are having here one hydrogen, and the remains that is nothing but OH. Now this compound is called as hemiacetal, HEMIACETAL. So it is having an ether, this is what OR, ether, as well as what? A OH group, that is what? A hydroxyl group. Now this hemiacetal is highly unstable and it is going to react with another molecule of an alcohol, that is R dash OH. Now here actually the mechanism is very lengthier, students, okay? Mechanism we are not that much interested here, so directly we can write the products, okay? RC then followed by hydrogen. Here also we are having an OR dash, and here also we are having here OR dash, okay? And the side product we have to recall that water will be eliminated in this reaction, and now this compound is called as acetal, ACETAL. Is it clear, students? Now some noteworthy points I will be explaining, students, here. So this reaction is carried in the presence of dry HCl. So this dry HCl, initially it will be protonating this oxygen, that is what? The carbonyl oxygen. And as and when it protonates this carbonyl oxygen, the electrophilic carbon, okay, this will be carrying positive charge. It means that dry HCl will increase the electrophilicity of the carbonyl carbon, facilitating the attack of this water nucleophile, that is what? OH minus. And this dry HCl also absorbs the water that has been formed in the reaction, facilitating the equilibrium in forward direction, that we have to remember, okay? So when this water is absorbed, the equilibrium will be shifting towards water right hand side, that is it is facilitating in forward reaction. Thus the above reactions are reversible. Therefore one has to remember that these acetals, whatever the acetals that are formed, can be decomposed by dilute mineral acids to get back the original aldehyde, okay? I'll be discussing that right now. So here this is the acetal, and when it is subjected to hydrolysis by using two molecules of water, this bond will be rupturing and this bond will be rupturing. Here I can write here hydrogen, here also I can write hydrogen, and here I can write OH, and here also I can write now OH. Now this bond is going to form between this OH, similarly here, and we are having here ROH, and this also is ROH. So the side products, what you can see that here I will write here RCH, then followed by OH, and here also water OH, right? With the loss of water, two molecules of alcohol, right? But here we have to see that, student, this carbon is now bearing two OH groups on the same carbon, so it is highly unstable. Okay, there is no such carbon atom which can contain two OH groups, so it undergoes intramolecular dehydration. So this bond will be shifting here. So now carbon is tetravalent here. This is first bond, second bond, third bond, and fourth bond. But one more bond when it comes here, this carbon becomes pentavalent and this OH goes outside. So therefore what is lost here now? One molecule of water is lost, and after that we are getting our original carbonyl compound, right? So this becomes a C double bond O. This is the original aldehyde which was involved in acetal formation. Now students, in the earlier reaction I have considered what the reaction of an aldehyde with monohydric alcohol, but now the question arises, what if happens if I take a dihydric alcohol? Dihydric alcohols are those in which two OH groups are present within the molecule. So here there is an aldehyde, so that is acetaldehyde, and here you can see that here we are having here OH and here also water OH which are present within the same molecule. So this compound is commonly called as ethylene glycol, or it is simply called as ethane 1,2 diol. When this ethane 1,2 diol is treated with acetaldehyde in the presence of dry HCl, so we can see that this water is eliminated, right? So this water is eliminated and we are getting here a CH3 single bond C to this one hydrogen is here, and it will be having a linkage with this oxygen, then followed by CH2, then followed by O, then followed by CH2, and these are connected here. Now these compounds are called as a cyclic acetal. Okay, so therefore I have written here cyclic acetal, right? And the name of this compound is called acetaldehyde. Since it is coming from acetaldehyde, so therefore it is called as acetaldehyde ethylene, ETHYLENE, ethylene acetal. Is it clear, students? So far we have discussed only the reaction of aldehydes with monohydric alcohol, then we will be getting acetal. If the same aldehyde is going to react with the dihydric alcohol, then we are getting what? A cyclic acetal, right students? So now in the next part we are going to discuss the reaction of ketones with alcohols. So ketones are not forming acetals with monohydric alcohols, but however they are going to combine to form cyclic products called cyclic acetals, or simply called as ethylene glycol ketal. So here let us take one compound called as ketone, that is acetone, and when it is treated with ethane 1,2 diol, okay, ethane 1,2 diol, it is a dihydric alcohol. So in the presence of dry HCl, so we can see that there is a loss of one water molecule, and we will be having the cyclic ketone, cyclic acetal, CH3, C, then followed by CH3, and this carbon is linked with oxygen, then followed by CH2, here O, then followed by CH2, and these are interconnected, plus I can write here what? H2O. So this compound is called as cyclic ketal. If it is an aldehyde, it is called as acetal, and if it is a ketone, it is called as a ketal. Is it clear, students? So one should remember that the ketals are formed, and these are reversible reactions. So therefore acetals and ketals, when subjected to hydrolysis in the presence of what? Water, they regenerate the original aldehydes or the original ketones. Now the next nucleophilic addition is addition of Grignard reagents, that is RMGX. One has to remember what is actually the nature of Grignard reagent. So Grignard reagents are represented by RMGX, and this metal is basically electropositive, that is magnesium. So therefore R becomes what? Nucleophilic in nature. And we basically know that these aldehydes and ketones are undergoing a nucleophilic addition reaction. So therefore this R group of this Grignard reagent will be acting as what? A nucleophile, right? So Grignard reagents react with the carbonyl compound, either aldehyde or ketone, to form addition products which are simply called as adduct, ADDUCT, and these adducts can be decomposed by water, that is hydrolysis, in acidic medium to obtain alcohols. Is it clear, students? So here I have taken an example 1. Let me call it as example 1, that is with respect to formaldehyde. So formaldehyde is written here and it is treated with methyl magnesium iodide, and we know that this pi bond is going to shift here. This oxygen bears partial negative charge and this carbon bears partial positive charge. Grignard reagent R, that is what a methyl group is acting as a nucleophile, and this will be attacking to this electrophilic carbon. So therefore I can write the addition product, that is adduct, right? HCH single bond O, and to this I am having here CH3, right? So this O, which is carrying now negative charge here, it is going to attract this magnesium and this iodine part. So therefore I can write here OMgI. So this is the addition product, or simply called as adduct, ADDUCT. This when subjected to hydrolysis in the presence of H+, that is what water is added, the bond is going to rupture in such a manner such that here the bond is going to rupture. Here we are adding one H+ and here water OH-. So therefore we can see the product formed, that is 2 hydrogen, then followed by water OH, then followed by CH3. You can analyze this part now. Okay, this is nothing but an alcohol. It is nothing but CH3, then followed by CH2, then followed by OH. It is a primary alcohol, right? And the side product is magnesium hydroxy. Okay, then followed by iodine, magnesium hydroxyiodide. So one has to remember that if I take a formaldehyde, then it will be always giving what a primary alcohol, and that is nothing but ethanol. So we can say that based on the nature of the RMGX used and the carbonyl compound, whether it is an aldehyde or a ketone, we will be getting different types of alcohols. Is it clear, students? Now in the second example, okay, here I have taken what acetaldehyde, and you know that how the reaction processes and all. Okay, so therefore straight away I will write the adduct here. Okay, so I can write here now CH3, then followed by C hydrogen, and to this oxygen we are having what Mg, then followed by I, and here I can write what CH3. So this is the addition product, right? So this addition product when subjected to acid hydrolysis, that is water in the presence of H+, this bond is going to rupture here. So I can write here H+, and here I can write OH-, and our product will be now CH3C, then followed by hydrogen, then followed by CH3, then followed by OH, plus I can write the side product as magnesium hydroxyiodide. So you can see that this OH group is linked with this carbon atom which contains only one hydrogen. So therefore such type of alcohols are called as what? Secondary alcohols, right, students? So what I want to make one statement is that if you use an aldehyde other than formaldehyde with the Grignard reagent, that is methyl magnesium iodide, you will be getting what? Secondary alcohols. I repeat it once again. If you make use of formaldehyde, then you will end up with a primary alcohol, and if you take an aldehyde other than formaldehyde, then our product will be what? Secondary alcohol. And likewise, if I take a ketone, then what would be the situation we will be analyzing right now. So let me take an example, that is example 3 with respect to ketone CH3C double bond O, then followed by CH3. So this compound is acetone, which is nothing but a ketone. When I treat this compound with methyl magnesium iodide, so here we are getting the adduct. So I'll write here CH3C, then followed by CH3. Here I can write OMgI, and here I can write water CH3. And when this adduct is subjected to acid hydrolysis, right, so this bond gets ruptured here. I can write here H+, and here I can write OH-, and our product will be CH3C, CH3, and here also CH3, then followed by OH, plus our side product will be magnesium hydroxyiodide. So here one can see that this OH group is linked with this carbon atom which does not contain any hydrogen. So therefore this is called as tertiary alcohol. Is it clear, students? So I want to repeat it once again here that if you take formaldehyde, then our product will be what? A primary alcohol. And if you take aldehyde other than formaldehyde, then our product will be secondary alcohol. And if you take a ketone, then our product will be what? A tertiary alcohol. Is it clear, students? We'll be continuing in the next class. And thank you for watching. If you feel good, kindly like the video and share the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.